Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rounding the Bases podcast. I'm Coach Coons, along with Coach Porter. And Coach, introduce our guest that we have tonight from Glenville State.
Glenville State's head coach, Jimmy Mullins. How's it going, Coach?
Good. Thank you all for having me here.
Yeah, yeah. We've had some good guests, and we've been looking forward to. We've been trying to get you on for a long time, and finally, the schedules. No Tuesday game today. Coming off a couple, weekends here, so we're excited to get you in, talk a little bit about your program,
Well,
talk a little bit about.
Even his off days, he's shoveling the field off. That's
Even off days shoveling the field. The weather's been brutal up here, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was good, and then it turns bad, and we've had some issues with our pitch clock that we were trying to deal with, and then the snow. But it's just all part of it. It's just good to see the guys get out and play. It's a good time of year, so it's exciting for sure. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time to give us a platform and talk about our program and things like that. So.
Absolutely. So how are those heated bullpens?
So I thought about managing games from the bullpen just because it's warm. And
is it like do you so they're covered, right?
Yeah. So we covered them. So and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4 heaters inside of it, and we tried it out on the coldest days, and it's really warm in there. So it's nice. We have an indoor facility we can utilize, but there's a lot of other groups here in town, which is great for our youth programs as well. But if it's going to rain or it gets cold, we can still throw bullpens outside instead of going inside and maybe messing up some schedules with the other groups too. Yeah. So it's nice to keep them warm down there and utilize that. So.
Well, for people who are watching, Coach, why don't you tell them about your Glenville State league you're in, who you play, things like that, what division, the whole thing.
Awesome. Yeah. So we're a Division II school in Central West Virginia. It's Glenville State University. We play in the Mountain East Conference. Our program is now probably 12 or 13 years old. Our program got dropped back in the mid-'80s, and it was brought back about 13 years ago. And so we're still fairly new considering, the other programs we play, historical programs. So we have most of the schools in our league that were in the old WIVIAC, which was the longest running Division II conference in the country, the West Virginia Conference. So we're the Mountain East now. In baseball specific, we're in the Southern Division. There's 2 divisions. In our division, we have West Virginia State University, University of Charleston. We have us, Concord. Some really historical programs. Concord went like 28 years in a row without missing the conference tournament. Last year was the first year in 28 years. Charleston's just had a great run of about 6 or 7 years, and West Virginia State, one of the most historical programs here. So it's really good baseball. We have a really good group of coaches, and it's just a great league. So our school is fairly small. We're about 2,000 students. We're in a very small area as well, but we're 68% student athletes. So people come here and they're going to be around other students who are athletes. Obviously, we have 14, 15 sports. We've won a national championship in women's basketball. Our women's basketball coach who was here went to Marshall. She's now the head coach at University of Tennessee. We've had, just some outstanding athletes and coaches come through here as well. Rich Rodriguez, who's now the head coach at West Virginia University, made his start here in college football. Channing Tatum went to school here. That's a good little nugget we drop. So it's a special place. We're blessed to have a beautiful all-turf complex here, 2 softball fields and our baseball field. We have the indoor facility, as we discussed earlier, brand new weight room. So what we tell recruits is, they're going to get a lot of things that they would get at the Division I level, just in a small, more affordable package. So I really enjoy it here. It's a special place. The community really, really gets behind our student athletes, and just really enjoy the journey here.
I think, before you get into it, I think that small school gets you closer. I'm watching the Stetson, Florida game. Stetson enrollment's 3,000, 3,200. Florida's enrollment's 48,000, and it's a tie game. You know, so anything can happen. I think the smaller school, and I coached at a small school when I coached as well, and you just got closer to your athletes. You could get, and they were ready to go for you. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I like about here is, probably none of our baseball players would have came here if it wasn't for baseball. And I say that in a way that's positive, to where we're all here for a common goal, to get our education, of course, but also to have a college baseball experience. And we've got a kid from Taiwan, we have kids from Venezuela, we have kids from Canada, we have kids from New York City, kids from small areas in West Virginia, and what value that is too, that to be able to be around a bunch of kids who are from different areas, different cultures, where they may not get that experience anywhere else. They would at a larger school probably, but to be around each other in a small atmosphere all the time, what great value that is. And sure, getting to know your professors, smaller class sizes, all that stuff is huge value. So it's a really good place for me. I think it's a really good place for my personality with the community, and with the athletes being able to come and just kind of I know if they come here, they love baseball.
Right.
A lot of baseball and not a whole lot of distractions. And I say, once you graduate, you can live wherever you want to and you'll have a degree, but why not be somewhere where you won't be distracted? You have all the resources to be who you say you want to be. And, we allow you that opportunity.
Glenville's a special place. It really is. It really is. You want to talk about a beautiful sports complex, a beautiful baseball complex. So Glenville's about 68 miles from here. It's not far from where I'm at, and just a beautiful school, awesome community. The facilities, though, I mean, if you're a baseball player, what do you call it? Like Disney World?
Yeah,
Disney World?
Baseball Disney World. So, literally we can.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we come in. The guys can come anytime they want. Set the hack attack machines up on the field. Jump in the garage over there and pull out the bands and get some arm carry in. Turn the music on. They can go inside, and we have 3 cages inside. It's turfed in there as well. They can take ground balls. I know our pitching staff goes in there and plays spike ball at night. We play wiffle ball games in there. We have our complex. We also have beach volleyball. We have basketball, track, and we also have a natural surface field as well that we can utilize and practice on. But it's just a great place, and everybody asks, hey, what are we going to do outside of baseball? We're going to be bored. Well, I promise you, if you're bored, it's your own fault here.
Right.
You got a bunch of guys that are here, and there's a lot of things to do, and it's a lot of baseball, and a lot of school. And like I say, we give you an opportunity to be who you say you want to be, and you won't have any regrets after.
Now, our company, and Coach Porter, I'm sure, has told you, we have baseball and softball. But what the people that are going to see this, what do you look for in a player that you're going to recruit, you're going to go after? What's your pecking order going down?
So just like any other coach, we're trying to get the best players that we can get, right? So we're going to cast, me personally, I try to cast the wide net as possible. We want to get the guys who, obviously, the eyeball test, they're the best guys that we can get if we can get those. But obviously, we're always not going to get all those guys. So we like kids that just are tough kids. I always ask them, who's your favorite baseball team? If they don't watch baseball, I'm not going to say it's a no for me, but it can be a little bit of a red flag for me, because I want guys that are interested in baseball, like to watch baseball. Guys who are tough, guys who are gritty. I like kids that maybe are undersized but really play hard and they listen and want to get better. I want some people who are going to come here and utilize everything that we have to offer. So guys that are going to be here extra, guys that are going to get work in, open-minded individuals. I was talking with Coach Porter earlier about, everybody can see and recruit the arm that's, 90 plus with a good slider and good frame. But what about the kids that are a little bit funky and a little bit overlooked? Because you flash those guys over, for an inning or two and really dazzle the other team. And we know pitchers are hard to get right now. I mean, pitchers are always hard to recruit, and we play in a small ballpark. So they're always asking that. We play in a small ballpark, but get guys that are funky and guys that want to be here and want to stay here and get the most out of them. Right now, I think we are, it's early, but we're top 15 in the country in hits per nine. We have, I think, 58 strikeouts and only like 32 walks as a pitching staff. We're number 3 in the nation in double plays. So all those things, it's a great time for us to hit up recruits, right, and talk about those things.
Absolutely.
But, I like tough kids. I like kids with a sense of humor. We're around each other so much and crack jokes. They crack jokes on me and I crack jokes on them. But I don't know if there's a study, but I really believe that kids with a good sense of humor, they can handle adversity a little bit better than maybe some other kids. And the ability to handle adversity is super important, as we know in the game of baseball and softball. So, those type of kids that want to learn, have some sense of humor, and really want to value what we have to offer is important to me.
Sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What about tell us about your journey, in coaching? We've crossed paths with a lot of different people. Tell us a little bit about your journey, because you've been around some really, really, really good baseball guys. In your coaching career.
Really blessed with that. But I'm from a town it's a small town in the state of Delaware. I went to a trade high school. I learned electrical trades and had planned on going to work. When we were seniors, you would work for 2 weeks and then go to school for 2 weeks. And, I planned on go ahead and take a job there. I was offered a full scholarship to go to Salem Community College in New Jersey. And it's a junior college, a 2-year school. I knew nothing about college or anything. I thought you had to do 4 years of school in 2 years. So I said, Coach, that's not for me. And he told me you need to sign the paper and come. So went there, played 2 years for Ronnie Palmer, who played at Davis and Elkins. I think he was the 1998 Hitter of the Year in the WIVIAC, and he was a head coach came back to Davis and Elkins. He was a head coach, and he's an athletic director out west now. And from there, I went to Alcorn State University, a Division I in Mississippi, in 2005, and I was actually there through Hurricane Katrina, which was a crazy experience there, but played for a coach named Willie McGowan. And Willie McGowan was a legend in Southern Mississippi. He was highly involved with high school football and college football there, as well as baseball. And he started a lot of the football programs in the area and started a lot of the baseball programs in the area. And he, at the time, was in his late 80s. And you think of an older black gentleman in the late 80s and the Delta of Mississippi. He had quite a history of just experiences, and just being able to be around him and different cultures was awesome. And then I actually came home during the springtime and to be with my grandfather, and went back to coach at the community college, and then ended up going on a visit to West Virginia State University. Found out I loved it there. I found out that they were hosting the regional the following week, so I stayed a whole nother week to watch the regional. So it was the longest recruiting trip probably in the history of recruiting.
And what year was that? What year was that?
2006 would have been when they hosted that regional.
And my team played in the regional there.
Right.
We played in the regional when you were in state regionals. It was us, Kutztown, Westchester,
yep,
UPJ, Pitt Johnstown, and Shepherd,
right,
and State, of course. 6 teams. The first year, I think it was the first year D2 went to 6-team regional. Because it was 4. It was 4 before that. So
that time. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 6 was the 6. That was the first year went to 6-team regional.
Yeah, and I was there and watching, and the crowd and just baseball, and I sat there all day long watching baseball, and I said, well, this is where I'm going to go. And I remember I walked into the bathroom and used the bathroom, and Cal Bailey was he's the head coach at West Virginia State at the time. He was in the stall next to me, and he said, what do you say, or something like that? And I said, man, I love this. I said, I think I'm going to come here. And he says, all right. And we made a handshake deal in the bathroom. So and that's and so went there. So 2007 was the first spring there, and we won the conference tournament in 2007, and then we won the conference tournament again in 2008, and then I went to work at the casino there in Cross Lanes, and wanted to get back in baseball. And Ronnie Palmer was the head coach then at Davis and Elkins. He offered me a job there, helping them out. And I lived in his basement, gave lessons for 2 years. And then Cal Bailey asked me to come back to West Virginia State. I was able to go to grad school at Marshall. And so I worked on grounds on campus from 5 a.m. until noon, practiced 1 to 4, then drove to Huntington for grad school, come back and do it all over again. And what experience that was too. So, and at that time, our assistant coach was, playing at State, our assistant coach was Lawrence Nesselrote, who's now the head coach at West Virginia Tech. Cal Bailey, who was the head coach over 1,000-game winner, and the other assistant coach, Sean Lloyd, who's now the head coach at West Virginia State. And then junior college playing for him from Ronnie Palmer. And then my summer ball coach was the grad assistant at University of Tennessee, and he's now the player ops guy at Lipscomb. So just really been able to be around a lot of good baseball people and meet people. And that's really, baseball coaches have always been just real special to me, and baseball teams, family inside the family. So I'm really fortunate for the journey I've taken and the people I've met.
Sounds like you want to write a book.
I got one coming, but yep.
And the stories, I want to tell you something. On the road, recruiting, or whenever we're together, these phone conversations, Coach and I will have the stories about all these guys, right? There's nothing better than like baseball stories. There's nothing better than, those types of things. So that's awesome.
I'm always
Like,
glad when you're
baseball
there
just
recruiting in the same place I am, and I have an assistant or whoever, and they don't believe what I'm telling them about these stories. And then you tell the story exactly the way it is, and then they can finally believe it. And that's just, but I tell our players all the time. Here's the thing: like, it doesn't matter, where you are, probably in the country, but college baseball is going to be some of the most special times of your life, and you're going to miss the bus rides, and you're going to miss the practices and the funny things that happen. You're going to miss those stories, and if you choose to coach and you're around coaches, and a lot of those stories are remarkable for sure. So
I've been many a day recruiting at Glenville State, up in the press box with like 5 other coaches, and just there's some times I'm like, did I watch any baseball? Because I think I laughed for like 5 or 6 hours.
Yep.
And
I'm trying to distract you from seeing the players, so I tell you stories, and that's not the players. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's good. So just a little position breakdown thing, because we, the head and account recruiting, what's really big with us is getting kids, working with them one-on-one, being part of their lives, finding the right fit, and that type of stuff. So in finding the right fit, I think it's important to know what a particular coach is looking for. So this would be like speed dating, all right? So this is like, I'm going to give you a position or a part of the game. Tell us what you're looking for, because as we talked a little bit earlier tonight. Actually, I was on my way home from baseball practice, and I'm very familiar with your program, and I watch a lot of you guys. And I have for years followed you guys like every game, but I think that it's important when you find the right fit, because the game's in a weird spot. My opinion, game's in a weird spot. We're metric driven. We're not, depending where you're at. You have 2 types of coaching. You have a facility coach, which there's nothing wrong with, but we're teaching a swing and maybe we're teaching velo, right? Just depends on where you're at. And you have college coaches who are looking for metrics guys. Then you have travel ball programs who, let's put 9 or 10 guys, metrics guys on the field and see how many can get recruited. And then and then you have guys that are teaching the game, and you really want to kind of a combination of both, right? Don't you want a guy that's going to develop players and teach them the game the right way? So, so basically, behind the plate, give me a couple blurbs what you're looking for behind the plate, because we talk about positions. We've been catching guys on here and stuff like that. So, in today's baseball landscape, catching. Couple
So
blurbs. What are you
toughness,
looking
it just
for?
stands out quickly. It's toughness and a kid that wants to catch, right? So we have a catcher with us now, one of our catchers from Florida, and his travel coach, sent up video and says, hey, this kid will play for you. And, if you just look at his video, his arm path is kind of funky. Kind of looks like a slow mover. But you get him and watch him in a game. He came up here and played in the game, and he just gets it, flat out gets it done. So baseball is not a beauty contest. I say the private facility coaches, not downing them, but their currency is for the players' parents to continue to have demand to come back and keep putting money in their pocket. And how are they going to do that? By trying to find something, increase exit velo or increase this or increase that. Our currency is runs on the scoreboard, no matter how it comes. Our currency is runs on the scoreboard. So I talk to our guys about, you're in the box and there's a runner at third base. Like, we do not really care what your swing looks like. We want you to hit a ball that's 30 miles an hour off the bat, maybe with 2 strikes, and kill 1,000 worms and score a run, because that's our currency, right? So we want guys that put the beauty out the window and want to be tough. Gritty guys. I think gritty guys beat pretty guys. Gritty beats pretty, a lot of times. So, but guys behind the plate, of course, high IQ guys. I really want guys to watch baseball who catch for us, because they're going to see, sequences. They're going to learn and do swings. Guys that want to do it, guys that are tough. That same kid I told you about, we have a video of him blocking a slider, and he literally just throws his body over. It's in the other batter's box, and he throws his hand up, and it hits him right here in the veins, and he saves us a run just by throwing it out there. And if I see 100 catchers out there, I don't think any of them make that block, and he just throws pretty out the window and gets it done. So, and that's the same for all positions. I want guys that are just gritty and want to get it done.
Love it. There's a thing, and at the ABCA this year, and if you can get on Clint Hurdle's Twitter page or X page, Clint Hurdle had a great presentation at the ABCA this year. Okay, Clint Hurdle, former Colorado Rocky, Pittsburgh Pirates manager, and he had a PowerPoint, and in his presentation he had a picture, and it was like there were picture of peanuts, and there was a picture of like human intestines, right? And he was like, we measure a lot of stuff today, and we've forgotten about nuts and guts. And I was like, and I actually took a picture of that slide. And I think it's a lot what you're talking about. That's really important. If you can add some of that talent with the desire, Coach Coons and I on here have talked a lot about the sixth tool, right? People discount that sixth tool, that grit, that all that stuff, right? What's inside of you that you can't measure with a radar gun. You can only see what's inside of you. You can only see it when you're on a field. It's those days, and I'm gonna use Mitch Lore for an example. Mitch played for me at Ohio Valley University for 5 years. We were in late June, and we needed a catcher. We signed a JUCO kid from California who could swing it, who was probably more of a first baseman, DH, right? But he'd get it done. And we're on this field, and we're in Elkins. We're at the Hillbilly Hardball. And I'm just standing there, and this coach from Pickerington, Ohio walks up, and he goes, "You need a catcher?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, look at this guy right here. So Mitch started out as a catcher
You heard
for
his
us.
back, right?
But just the way he
hurt his
played,
back. Is that
right?
right? Yeah.
He hurt his back, yeah. And he
Mhm.
got surgery, and it really, we moved him to first base, but dude's got light tower, big league pop, like hitting a ball off a tee, a mile, right? Plays hard, all that stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
the one right there. That's the one. And signed him, and he did some stuff. So Mitch, when Ohio Valley University closed, Mitch went to Glenville State
Yep.
3 years ago with his his younger brother Mason. Mason was the same way. I went up to Columbus somewhere and watched him in a sectional game, and it just like the way he's playing, I'm like, that's him.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
And
right
Mason's
there.
first practice out here, we had just got we got these new padded walls up on the outfield fence. I know they look beautiful. They're like big league padded walls. Well, we're in the middle of batting practice. It's the first practice, and you know how heck midweek games and stuff like coaches complain about you can't get guys up for midweek games to play and to be excited, and practice just kind of blur through it. Some guys, I hear the wall.
Yeah.
I hear the wall just hit, and it's just this loud boom. And I look over, and Mason's just laying on the ground, and he caught the ball, but he run into the fence, just full bore, run straight face first into the fence. And I knew, it may not be right away, but this kid is going to do stuff for us. And because I like tough kids, and I do think that kids aren't born mentally tough, and kids aren't born physically tough. There's things that you can learn, and I think that some kids have been told that they need to be tough so much that they don't know how to be. And we try to give them little ways and little examples and things like that, and just pump them up and let them know what they could be, because you'll never outperform your own self-image. So if these kids think that that they're not something because they've always been told that, I want to really tell them what they can be. And mental toughness and physical toughness, that's just one thing that we can use, that strategy. But we were down 5 runs in the second inning there this weekend, and I could see in our guys' face that they knew that it wasn't over yet. And we did come back and win, and we could not come back and win, and they still be tough if they still believed it. We're not always going to win the game, but they won the fact that they approached it the right way to give themselves the opportunity. And it's so easy to hit the reset button. People to say, "Oh, this is just not my inning." If you're a pitcher, a couple things happen. It's not my inning. Now you're victim of the inning. Instead of winning the situation, now 2 runs, you win the situation, but you gave up 5 because you became a victim of the inning. You're on defense and you made an error. You become the victim of the inning. Another ball's going to find you again. Now it's even worse. So, I really think that those things carry over. And him running into the wall, or say Mitch playing hurt for us when he had a torn hamstring and everything else in the conference tournament, those things show up and you can see it. But you can also see it in other aspects of their life too. But sometimes they just have to be taught how to do it, what it looks like. And Jerry Weinstein said it takes balls to win in baseball, and he's not talking about the baseballs. So I love that quote too.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Hey, and here's a Cal Bailey, right? The little white mouse always finds the hole.
That's correct.
Right. And he also said a mule's a mule, right? I mean, we had the a mule's a mule, right? Conversation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, real fast, tell me about corner infielders. Infielders.
Okay, so let's just say first baseman. Okay, so I really like to have first basemen who are athletic enough to be able to play shortstop. We put a lot of our first basemen into the middle infield type drills, guys that can move and stay low to the ground. Because, we talk a lot about, say, third baseman or first baseman. Balls to you are going to be more top spun on the corner. So, guys that can utilize a quick drop step, to come in, come back, good arm, obviously. And then your middle guys, I really like guys with good hands, good feet, obviously. But we're going to, work on that when they're here as well. Our outfielders, I think guys that can run. It just depends on what you have and what your offense is. But a lot of times we have corner outfielders who never played outfield before, but they can swing it. We play in a smaller ballpark. And then, once we have a lead, we'll put some other guys in there to play defense. But to me, I'm not going to say an outfielder's arm is overrated, but if that's all they have as an arm, then how many lead runners are we really going to throw out during a game, right? So you're going to have 4 at-bats. You're going to have 4 at-bats in the game. That's the most important thing for me. And if you make the routine fly ball and you make those plays, then you're going to be a benefit to us. If you have a really good arm but you don't run the bases well, you got swing and miss stuff, you're not really helping us that much because we're not going to throw lead runners out all the time. We have a system here where if you're a right fielder and there's a runner at first or a runner at second, we're not going to throw to the lead bag if the ball's outside of your lane. And your lane is, say, if there's a runner at second base and I'm playing right field, I would have to be coming straight towards home plate. That's my lane. If I'm going outside of that lane, we're going to just split the runners. So, the arm is, I'm not going to say is overrated, like I said, but there's other things, how you track balls and your speed and obviously offensively. We love left-handed sticks because the ball flies to right field here. So, and there's another thing, guys that are willing to play other positions because they've been told so much, hey, you're a shortstop, but, you're playing second base. The coach doesn't think you're that good. Well, the second baseman's responsible for a lot more outs than the shortstop is when you consider the double play. So the double play is very, very important. So, we had a catcher that actually, he was a freshman, and he left because we had him playing left field. And I say, man, we play 4 games in the weekend. You're in the lineup. What does it matter? Because he wanted to catch. So it didn't work out with us. He would rather not play than catch. And that type of kid is just not going to work out for us. But, we tell them the whole travel ball is set up for you to get looks and find a place for you to go play. So it's set up for you to not be selfish, but the spotlight on you, right? Once you get here, you're expected to root for guys that are in your same position because now it's we. We have a saying called "For the Boys," and they made it up. I like to live out sayings, not really have stuff on our shirt, things like that. But I can honestly tell you that in the last 3 years, I have never been around a group of players who literally just root for each other, regardless if they're playing or not. And I really think it makes a difference. So don't know what the answer is, and I don't know how you look for it all the time on the recruiting trail, especially when you don't get that much time around them. But it's highly important that they understand that if you can root on everyone else and help everyone else, you're going to be successful yourself, and it's going to help the team. So those things are really, really important to me as well.
I think that's a great message too, right there.
Yep.
Be a team player, no matter what sport you're in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why employees love hiring college athletes, right? That's where the value of athletics is, and people who have never been in athletics maybe don't understand that, but the value of being on a team, especially a diverse team like ours, where you have different experiences and trying to communicate with different people. But I'm really proud of our guys because they do root on each other. And I expect you, if you want to play and you're not playing, I expect you to be a little pissed or a little mad and but work on it the right way through the week. But when it comes game time, are you going to sit there and be miserable, or are you going to have a fun day at the ballpark? You might as well root on the other guy. And our guys do that. So that's something that we really try to make sure kids understand, that it's okay to not play right away. Sometimes you have to tell your parents that, hey, I'm good. I'm having a good time. I'm getting better. I'm enjoying the experience, and that's going to allow you the opportunity to play. I think there's a place for everyone, even though it's hard for high school players right now with a lot of the rules, and the draft was cut down and Division I rosters are flooded and all this stuff. But I really do believe there's a place for everyone to go. Just have to expand their borders. They may not be in the area that they want to be, really, but find a place where they're wanted. Not where you're going to play right away necessarily, but where they're wanted and they can see themselves. And I promise you, it's a good experience. I tell all our guys, this is the best experience you're ever going to have. In the fall, you're a little uncomfortable and awkward, but the spring's going to come and it's going to be great.
I think that's a good spot to end right there. That's the message. You got to handle adversity.
100%. 100%.
If you can do that, you're going to be successful in life and as well as on the field,
Yep. Toughness and adversity. I mean, one day you're going to get a flat tire and your family's going to be in the car and you're going to have to get out there in the cold and change the tire, right?
That's right.
That's what I told our guys the other day when we were playing. Our softball team moved to Sunday and Monday. Monday was a much more beautiful day than Saturday was going to be, but we were scheduled to play Saturday, and I'd rather stay up all night, shovel the snow and play on Saturday.
Right.
Get out there and play. If you're going to be excited about anything, it should be baseball. And but our guys are tough, and they like that. So there's a place for everyone to play. Reach out to coaches, send video, find the majors you're interested in, and don't give up. Look for help. Look for good resources like you all. There's people out there that want to help you, and there's a place for everyone.
Jimmy, if anybody watching tonight is interested in Glenville State, what's your email address where they could contact or send to get information?
Sure. My email is james.mullins, Mullins, @glenville.edu. Twitter is @jmullins85. And my cell is 304-904-5145. And sometimes I'm bad on email just because they're jumping around doing different things. Heck, I got our scoreboard controller right now trying to figure out how to get our clock. And so the email's bad, but shoot me a text. Every recruit that I ever talk to, I'd say, even if it's not Glenville, I'll help you out in any way that I can. And I really mean that.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate having you on. And like you say, if you guys out there are interested in a school like Glenville State, we're here to help you. Coach Porter and I, we obviously have a little in now to get you in touch with Coach Mullins. So hit us up on our website, aheadaccountrecruiting.com, and fill out that questionnaire. We'll get you some information and put you in touch with it. Maybe you can get up there and see a game. Please do. And softball as well. Any softball players interested, we'd love to help them out as well. Very good. Well, Jimmy, thank you for being on tonight. We appreciate it. And guys, thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you next week. We'll have another coach on, trying to line up a JUCO coach, actually. And we may have that next week to talk about that other option as well. So until next week, we will see you later. But hit aheadaccountrecruiting.com. Coach Porter and I will certainly free evaluation.